Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Do a little Mr. Miyagi. No, I'm doing the Karate Kid focus in and out right here. This is like me breaking blocks of ice. Okay.
Oh, these two girls when you kiss are gonna be hot. Oh, yo, Elizabeth Hurley's gonna get butt naked in this.
I dangled for too long there. That wasn't fun.
But I'm so apathetic to Star Wars that this episode could have featured Yoda riding on a dildo being wielded by R2-D2, and I would have the same reaction.
Yo, you let the joint hit the back of your throat. Have you no shame?
Well, we're talking about people who have serious sexual orientation and gender identity problems. And I'm not talking, and when I say sexual orientation, I don't mean, a dude who likes a dude and a chick who likes a chick. We're talking about people who think that they're non-binary and they don't know how to play with their holes and shit like that.
Oh, Jesus. Like, I want to dive into her deep pool and swim around in her labia.
I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
Oh, yeah, is that sauce good? Oh, yeah, sauce is good.
You got to watch it. You got to hit the like button.
We've got to get it up for him, guys. Come on. Everyone who's watching this
video
needs to
that.
go over
Don't
there,
say it like that.
And share the video. We got to keep going.
Don't they have to get it up for me? Don't say it like that. God damn it.
Oh, you will taste and see that I am delicioso.
But it was a space battle. It's a visually impressive object all over it.
Great Scott. I'm retarded.
It has shown us one thing. The fake fans, the stands, they show up. They showed up for all of these. But they're not an audience.
Nope.
They're a bunch of weirdos hanging out in a parking lot watching each other do weird shit.
Oh, God.
I don't know where I come up with these. They just happen.
Are you out there watching them watch them?
I can hear them from where I am. That's the
a lot of squelching.
Yeah. Listen, at least I don't have to clean it up. That's good.
I'm colored. Shut up.
I'm not gonna try and win hearts and minds, pretend I'm something I'm not. They make a video game. No, it's bullshit. Not real. But we don't want Revan touched. No.
Agreed.
You don't want anything good touched.
No.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because Disney Star Wars is a bad touch.
It is a bad touch.
Touches you in the bad place.
It's a bad touch.
Show me on the doll where Disney Star Wars touched you.
I need a bigger doll.
Oh, God.
There's no doll left.
Howdy, all! I am Adam the Renaissance Nerd, and it is May the 4th. So let me wish each and every one of you, May the 4th be with you, because you know what? Disney Star Wars has proven that it will carry on the mantle, the glory, the legacy of George Lucas Star Wars. They have brought Ahsoka into the limelight. Rey will make a new Jedi Order where she will train Grogu to be the greatest of all Jedi once he's done with his time with Mando, once they've had their adventures. And we know and feel this because on May the 4th, which is Star Wars Day, it represents everything that is great about Disney Star Wars, which is just everything Dave Filoni does. Tony Gilroy has made Andor some of the best Star Wars television ever, okay? And I can say that because I am a real Star Wars fan. I love everything. I watch everything. I write great reviews. I hit that like button all the time. I make sure that everybody who stands up for the glory of Kathleen Kennedy, who protects her, who shields her from the internet trolls, who take their time every day to try and shit on all the great work she's done with Dave Filoni and our friend Jon Favreau, okay? We have to remember everything they have done Everything they have worked hard to make better than what George did. Do you understand? They have made it better than George Lucas. The Rise of Skywalker took Star Wars to heights we have never seen before. And now we're getting the Mandoverse. They are so good, they have the ability to remake Heir to the Empire. That's how good this will be. So you guys have to understand, on this actual real Star Wars day, May the 4th, we must realize, we must have our moment that Disney Star Wars keeps on winning, and it'll keep winning into the future. I cannot wait 10 years from now to celebrate the sequel trilogy like we've celebrated Revenge of the Sith this past week. So thank you, one and all. May the 4th be with you.
What?
And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome back to the round table. You've survived another week. So you get to join us for a couple hours as we cover things in our unique and special way. How you doing, Jed? I got nothing else.
You got nothing else?
I got nothing else.
I'm doing great, and I just want to take my time here to say, how many subs are you away from 4K now?
Oh, let's have a look. That's a good idea.
We're very close to getting Adam over the 4K hump, which is
Yeah.
a big milestone for YouTube. So I think we can get there this week.
13. We're still 13 away.
13 away. Only 13 people need to subscribe. I'm sure a few people in this chat, yes, of course, you've already subscribed, but you have alts. I have like 7 alts. They've all subscribed. Why don't you go subscribe to his channel on your alt accounts, everyone? We can get him there very, very soon.
Yes. Thank you, Jed. We're getting pretty close, and I've always been told weird and wonderful things happen when you cross into that 4,000 range, because it gets you into a different section where the algorithm might take you seriously, and you don't have to go viral to get views on stuff. So yes, guys, thank you. Support me. Best thing to do is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave comments, share it around. We're doing great things here. We have a lot of plans. For the future, and a lot of exciting stuff's going to happen in the next month or so too. New streams, new events on the show, and sometimes you, the very fan, you, the audience, you, the chat, can be directly involved in the things that happen. Dragon Lady, hi.
Hi, good evening. I had nothing else better to do this evening, so I came on today.
Oh, thanks. Oh, nothing better to do, so just show up to work. Great, thanks. All right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, there is. It's like saying, "Oh, I've got nothing better to do, so I'll just grace you with my presence, even though I should be here every week." Fine, whatever. Hi, Dre.
Well, it's good to be back, and I'm glad I'm here because I had an absolutely horrid week.
Oh,
but
no.
Before I get into that, but everybody in the chat, like this video for sure. Like the stream, and I'm going to say it just for fun. Get it up for Adam. Get it up for him.
Get it up for him.
Get it up for him.
Yeah,
and for those that haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. This has been a pretty rough week for me, so I'm glad to be amongst my homies. So we got some injuries from the car accident. They are starting to pile up, and now I'm on. Only thing I can describe this is crack. That's the only thing I can describe this as, so I can function. And I got word on Friday that my car is officially deemed totaled.
I know what that's like. I know exactly what it's like because 3 years ago now, I share a car with my mom. All right, I did then and I do now. It was my car, and since I work out of the house, I generally don't need it most of the time, so it's very easy for an exchange. Back then, it was even needed. She needed it even more, and she was on her way home from one of her clients or one of her appointments, and she was just leaking out for her turn to get on the road, and some crazy motherfucker foreigner who couldn't barely speak English clipped the front of the car. And it didn't even look that bad, but when we took it to our guys, they said, yeah, there's no real fixing this.
Yep.
It's totaled. And that, of course, sent us into a panic. Now we had at that time we had the money saved up, so we were able to get it done. But it took everything we had to get another car.
Yep.
And so I know exactly what that's like. It's like, oh, it's totaled. Great. Now what do I do? Because the car insurance only paid for like a week of a free car. So it was like, okay, we're under the gun. Let's go. Gotta find one.
Yep, and that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I got my rental car. But yeah, I was in physical therapy when I got that call. I was over there getting my back worked on. Well, I got a call, and it's like, "Hey, is this Mr. Daniels?" Like, maybe. Who's asking? Like, yeah. Your car is finished. So, yeah. I'm like, I guess this is how we do it. So now I got to take a payout. I had that car for 12 years, yo. 12 years, but now she's gone. I said goodbye to her on Friday. It was horrible. It was horrible. But say all that to say this, I'm happy to be with y'all today. Talk about all the horrible stuff that's happening outside of my life, and to make some fun of it. So
we've got the horrible today. We've got the bloated Superman budget. I mean, it was always rumored. I mean, it's been a story out there for a long time. The tax documents filed in Ohio that showed how much it was. But James Gunn, who was a liar, tried to refute that constantly. But then Hollywood Reporter, one of the shilliest of the shills, picked a fight with him this week and actually stated the numbers and also revealed some other stuff that is going to make this budget go higher. So we're going to talk Superman's bloated budget. In connection to that, because it's part of the three-way dance, we had a Fantastic Four trailer drop this week. I honestly didn't watch it. My chat didn't make me watch it on Daily Dive, so you know what? Hey, I moved on real quickly. But it has sparked some good stories with quotes from the Invisible Woman herself, whatever the hell her name is. She
White
has
lady.
Vanessa Kirby.
Kirby.
There it is.
Kirby has actually weighed in on this and said some shit. She's actually said some stuff, and everybody's confirming. So it's the Fantastic Invisible Woman is what this movie's turning out to be. So we're going to talk about that. The Switch 2 launched this week, and it's raining. Yay! Means I'm not taking out the garbage after the show. So we've got Switch 2 launch, and while easily a successful launch, as we've been talking about, we now have what I deem evidence of this is what you, as Jed would say, paid $500 for. This is what you paid $500 for. We'll get into that. And then, of course, just to make Jed and I happy, we've got more trash Doctor Who news, which is just, are you kidding me? Really? We're doing this? We're doing this. Anyway, so hail howdy to the chat. Hiccups, thank you. I'm a mess this morning, aren't I? How y'all doing? Hey, I hope you guys doing well, having a good day. Hail the goddess, along with good Sir Algrim the Strong and Ruben X, my mods, here to keep the peace, do what they can to make fun of me at every turn. Well, at least Legatus does. Algrim and Ruben like me. Legatus doesn't.
He doesn't like you after last night, especially.
Hey, we were as nice as we could be. We could have been a whole lot more cruel. Okay.
What happened last night?
It was the results of chat choice for Drive-In, and Legatus' movie won. And we weren't very pleased with this movie last year. So.
Have you ever seen the Apple Dumpling Gang, Dre?
1970s Disney live action.
No, I can't say I have.
Count yourself lucky. So we were as kind as we could be to him. We could have.
We were kind. We still gave it 4s.
We could have been meaner, but I enjoy that. Hail Hussein, how are you, my friend? How you doing? Hail Son of Joxer. Yeah, Titan Tainted Grail. I won't pay full price for that, but maybe I'll get that game down the road. I'm not paying $40-$50 for it. I'm not doing that. But maybe $20-$30 some point. Looks like a fun game. If you're having a good time, that's good. I'd like to hear more going forward with that.
I think you and I are having way too much fun playing Expedition 33 to switch to another game.
I didn't even get a chance to play it yesterday because of everything I had to do, both streaming and real life. Well, I did play games last night. We played our usual co-op night with some Dark Tide and then some Starship Troopers. And by the end of it, we had 11 people for Starship Troopers by the end of it. And oh man, we are the big fight of the night. It was Valaka, arc defense, get both gas and ore, but we got screwed because both the gas and the ore were in bumblefuck, like off in the fucking boonies, down in a ravine and this and that. And because it was 11 of us, the retarded crew, it's on us to win. The remaining 5 people are going to come in. We're sorry. It's us. So we went in there and we gave it our damnedest. We had the bugs were relentless from the beginning. Our fortifications were minimal at best because getting the ore back in time to build up a supply, to build walls wasn't really happening. But we put up a fight. We're all calling out shit. We're focus firing. We got guys running back and forth the ore with teams protecting them. We were trying to do the missions that decrease the bug threat levels, but they weren't working. So the bug threat level hits endless horde, and it just keeps on bad. But we did it. We got the ore in there, and then we managed to get the gas, and we got to the final stage to defend the arc. And we couldn't hold out because we never really built good fortifications to defend ourselves. Not enough turrets, not enough redundant walls, no real defense around the arc. And at one point they just were in there slamming us, and we lost. We were in there for like well over an hour doing that thing. It was well over an hour in that fight, and it was a rough loss. I'm being very serious. It was just like, man, I really wanted that win because we were working well. We were communicating. We're calling it out. Teams were running back and forth. It was a great game, and we lost. And I didn't even make it back to the ship. I died, and I got caught running. I tried to get past a warrior popped up out of nowhere and ganked me as on my run back to the ship. It was a bad loss, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and the stream is stuff. If you guys want to watch our desperate defense, you can watch it. I've left it up. I'll leave it up till the end of the day. It was a lot of fun, and remember, guys, you can join us for that. It's an open invitation for members of the chat, members of the group that follow Ballbuster, stuff like that. You can join us when we play these games. There's always room for fans. Ruben has played with us. He can attest to that. We welcome you guys having fun with us, and it's a lot of fun, guys. So check that out. There'll be more of that probably next week, including I believe there'll be a little Space Marine 2 starting because I was generously gifted the game. So we'll be playing that a little bit as we try to enjoy 40K stuff because 40K is fun. 40K Warhammer is a fantastic thing to get involved in. So that's my gaming story. So I did play games yesterday, but I didn't get to play Expedition 33. We're going to try and finish that up in the next week or so because I got very little left to do. But as an aside, I think I found the hardest boss in the game, and even at level 92 out of 99, he destroyed me, utterly destroyed me. Now I am on the hardest difficulty level, so that's to be said. But let's just say the parry dodge is nigh impossible. I'm not that good. Anyway, all right. So we have a sip of water, and let's start the show. Unless somebody else has a story.
Oh, I finished XCOM. It was great.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
hell yeah. You actually beat it. You beat it. Beat it. Man, really? Wow. See, that's an original XCOM. That's a thing because it gets to a point where it's like, wow, I've got like 3 pretty good teams, but them landing points are everywhere.
My God.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Insanity.
Yeah. That's a feat. That is a feat. Well done, sir. Well done, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, good sir. Appreciate that.
All right. No, that's the wrong article. Let's start with box office. Our Sunday privilege. Let's do a refresh on this one. I knew that wasn't up to date. I knew that was not up to date. Here we go. Okay, so box office privilege. Let's check in and everything and lead into our next discussions. As we discussed last week, Lilo and Stitch is well on its way to $1 billion. The international, it seems the domestic is slowing down just a little bit because drop of 47%. It basically halved itself, a little over halved itself, not bringing in as large numbers. But that
I'm honestly surprised it didn't break 8 or 850 for this week.
I think the backlash might be piling up finally.
Word of mouth is finally getting out there.
Yeah, but I think the international is going to carry it, honestly, at this point. I mean, this is week 3. This is only week 3, and it's at 772. It would take a massive fall off both internationally and domestically for it not to hit.
Well, this week was only 33 or something like that domestically is what it showed down there. And if it has another half drop off, and if worldwide is or the international's off doing much better either, it's probably halving as well. It might eke out $1 billion, but I wouldn't say 1.1. I don't think is in the cards right now.
Oh, it's not 1.1. And we always said if it does, it'll be $1 billion, but it's not going to be a mega over $1 billion.
I'm surprised it slowed down this much, honestly.
I mean, I still have a feeling it's going to hit $1 billion, but maybe the backlash, because I've heard more backlash. It's continue there. People do not speak kindly of this movie right now.
Yeah.
Domestically.
If it hits 900 next week, it'll slowly get to $1 billion. But if it doesn't hit 900 next week, I don't know if it's gonna get there.
Yeah, if it doesn't hit 9 next week, it might not. But then again, the competition for the rest of the month is pretty light in terms of movies, because we will check out Mission Impossible limping along. That's a sad domestic rate. Let's refresh it real quick.
Oof.
That's a sad domestic.
Yeah, right.
It's not going to make any money. It's got at least 900 million to break even, probably closer to $1 billion. And it's never going to get there, which is disappointing. I enjoyed the film. It's not good. It's not great, but it's a lot of fun.
It closes out the series, though. It closes it out. So
well,
okay.
I don't want to talk spoilers, but
okay. Point is, it's pretty sad. But it is what it is. And then we did have a release this weekend, Ballerina. That's does it have its budget here? 90 million.
The international must not be coming in because that can't be right.
Yeah, let me refresh that again.
That's like $50. Okay.
No, there's the international. There's the international. Still, it's pretty weak international.
Yeah, and a budget of 50.
90
probably
million.
I'd say 250 is a fair break even point, and it's not going to get there. If it's only 50 in its first
what was
weekend,
the budget? 90 million?
90 million.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's over 200.
It hasn't had a large marketing budget. I haven't seen a whole lot from it, and I'm a little disappointed. I was looking forward to this film. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm disappointed that it's getting this sort of reaction. I feel like a lot of people are grouping in with Furiosa. The response I've seen is, why would I watch a John Wick movie without John Wick, especially female John Wick? And I've never understood that argument with these other spinoffs as well, because it is a spinoff. It is not a continuation. It's not a replacement. It's just a spinoff. And spinoffs have always been allowed. Just because it's a female version or a female spinoff doesn't make it replacement. And I never understood that with Furiosa. I haven't seen Furiosa either. I haven't actually seen any Mad Max movies.
That movie is bad, sir.
But just that argument that, hey, it's in this franchise, but not in the main series. How dare you not have the main character in it? Well, it's
you know what that is.
I've seen a few posters on buses for Ballerina, but that's about it really over here. I'm not seeing anything else of it. That's about it.
To what Jed is saying, that I think that kind of response, that is a fallout from the agenda ideology.
I agree. I agree.
Yep. People, if it's not your main thing, especially if they decide to make it a female lead, that it's just pushing, for lack of a better term, a PTSD button with everybody from this whole era. That's what it's doing. It's like, oh wait, what? No. That's your instant reaction. I mean, this might be a good movie, it might be a passable movie. Anna de Armas is smoking hot, but it's not. It's you're gonna get the automatic response of, why am I watching John Wick without John Wick? That's just gonna be their response.
And I'm inclined to agree. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree for sure. And right when Jed started speaking, I was like, I know exactly where people's minds are, because this is a John Wick franchise. If I'm going to see a John Wick movie, I want to see John Wick. And people are equating it with the woke ideology nonsense that we've been beat across the head with for over half a decade. So it's an immediate reaction of rejection. They're vomiting it out just by the idea of it. So even if this film has got no agenda and stuff, they're not gonna accept it.
I think he's supposed to be in it, but I think it's very, very brief.
No, it's a cameo.
He's in it because it takes place between the third and fourth film. But
the thing is this, that Dre's absolutely right. It's people reacted to it in that sense, and it's a little unfair, but it's just where we are. It's where we are. People are going to have that reaction, and sometimes this movie may not be deserving of that, but I would say Furiosa was deserving of it, because even go back to Fury Road. That was a movie that had Mad Max in it, but he still wasn't in it.
Yeah, he was in the main character.
Tom
and
Hardy
isn't
that. And also at the same time, it's already been proven that unless John Wick's in a John Wick franchise movie, nobody cares. Look at the TV show, The Continental. That flopped as a show. Nobody watched that shit.
Atomic Blonde, which was kind of marketed at the time as being in the John Wick universe, even though they retroactively changed that, didn't do well either.
Yeah.
That was the first John Wick female spinoff. Yeah, but no one was treating it like this.
John Wick works because of Keanu Reeves. It's that simple. You take him out of the equation and no one's interested. If they just made something called Ballerina and not had it be in the John Wick universe.
Just say from the creators of John Wick, then you're good.
Yeah, you don't need to be that.
But the name is ridiculous. Yeah, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. That's fucking insane. That's just like Fast and Furious presents, Hobbs and Shaw. Just fucking call it Hobbs and Shaw. That's what everyone's going to do anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So let's bring this down and let's take a quick look at what we've got for the rest of June going into July, according to my little graphic that I keep using for this conversation, because it doesn't have everything on it, but it does have, I think,
it's got the big releases, yeah,
the major players that are coming on. So let's bring the graphic back up here. We are here, Ballerina. We've got Elio's gonna flop. Okay, there are technically, I would say, 2.5 major releases for the rest of the month before we get to the three-way dance. How to Train Your Dragon live action. We've given our thoughts on that. I still think
I want it to fail.
I want it to fail because it does. I think it will in the end. We're not going to have a Lilo and Stitch moment. We'll have a Lilo and Stitch opening probably, but I think
I don't think it's going to be as big, but it'll be solid. I think a solid opening.
We've always said it's going to have a solid opening, but I think if people were angry over the Lilo and Stitch change, there are going to be a lot of changes in this movie. They said there were going to be changes.
Well, didn't they make Peg Leg gay? That's one of the rumors that are going out there.
They made that became a retcon to the series later, and if they have a chance to make it real in this movie, I very much believe they will.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe they've actively said in interviews leading up this is not a direct one-to-one remake. There will be changes. So if people just reacted to the end of Lilo Stitch, which is one of the only major changes outside of Gontu not being it, the How to Train Your Dragon people might be furious by the end of that first weekend.
Depends on how they go about it. If it's absolutely destroying it and being disrespectful, I can see most of us basically turning around and walking away from it. But if it's changes but decent, might be tolerable, I think.
I don't think it's going to be that. I've always believed that these changes are going to be pretty hardcore because they've lied to you in the trailers. They've shown you everything you remember that hits the nostalgia button. And those are just nostalgia famous moments. There's still another 2 hours of movie that you have to see. So you got that. 28 years later, I think people are going to like it. That's not going to do major numbers.
It depends on the budget it has. Like you're saying, it's a niche franchise. So if it has a reasonable budget, I'd say under 70 million, it'll make money. I think
money, but we're not talking
people looking forward to it.
We're not talking blockbuster here. We're not.
Oh God, no.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's going to be successful, but it's not going to be a challenge to Lilo and Stitch's reign.
Not at all
in terms of overall. F1, we've commented on that. There are people excited for a racing movie, but apparently it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it's at least over $300 million budget. And where's that money going? Brad Pitt's not that expensive these days.
And yeah,
I don't think he is anyway. He's not a big box office draw anymore.
Unless it went to the cars.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Probably.
Was it filmed on real set or at the tracks? Like if it was
I don't know.
I don't know. And stuff.
I couldn't tell you, but yeah, that budget's too insane for a car movie. Like Ford versus Ferrari was relatively successful and well liked, but you're never going to have a broad audience for a film like this. So
it's niche.
It's very it's niche. If it had a budget under 100 million, I'd say it could break even. But with 300 million, there's no way it's going to hit 800 million and start making
and there's
profit.
Been like no marketing for this movie at all.
Oh God, no, yeah.
No marketing. So nobody really knows about it. We know about it because we pay attention to movies and box office. But
I think it's going to be a big flop for the year.
Oh, I do.
I think
Oh,
Snow
I do
White's
too.
still probably going to be the biggest flop
Oh,
of
it's
the
the
year.
winner. Snow White's the winner.
But F1 is definitely going to be in the top list in a year of flops.
But no one's going to care. That's the thing. No one's going to care.
No one's going to give a shit.
Care. And then Megan 2.0. I first saw the trailer for that this week. That looks like pure slop.
Well, the first one was.
I never saw the first one.
I saw the first one once it came to streaming. I saw it, and I was like, okay, this is garbage. It's not even like fun garbage. It's just garbage. And like, if it was like so bad it's good, I could accept it. But this film was just insufferable nonsense.
I mean, the first one was like a pseudo horror movie, right?
I use the term horror very loosely.
Well, this one looks like they turned it into an action movie now, where she's flying around kicking people's asses.
Yeah, like it's so like they tried to do like the original one was supposed to be slasher-esque and very esque. Like it was not. It wasn't good. It wasn't funny. It wasn't entertaining. I remember it was being memed to death because she does a weird dance. That's it. That's at the end of the movie. That's at the end of the movie when she does the weird.
And she does it again in this. But from the trailer I saw, it takes place far into the future, and there's like it's dystopian, and she's going to be used as an anti-hero to fight another android robot that is another bitch. I think it's played by the chick who played Shin Hati in Ahsoka. I think that's her. And it's like use one bitch to fight another.
Yeah,
and
that's the truth.
And it's looks like a CGI nightmare of a movie, honestly. So they turned it from slasher-esque slop into action slop. It looks like just from the trailer that I saw. Just from the trailer.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who liked the first movie.
But it's got its sequel, and that's not competition. So Lilo and Stitch has enough room left, with the exception of How to Train Your Dragon. It has enough room left to eke out $1 billion. It does. But this backlash may have piled up at this point. And it maybe now seeing the pile up of the backlash that I thought might happen in the first week, it might have been a just slow burn effect.
Mm.
It might have been that. And so now the original wonder is, will the backlash hurt? Maybe now it's first coming into play. But it has a chance. But of course, July 2nd, dinosaurs.
Oh, that's going to destroy everything.
It's over. It's over after that.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Honestly, even though I think that movie's going to be garbage, I think it's going to be
fun.
Yeah. It's going to be so bad. I'm going to watch it. I'll probably enjoy it. I did not like Fallen Kingdom or Dominion, but I liked the first one well enough. This one, I don't know how it's going to turn out for enjoyment factor, but it's going to make so much fucking money. I wish it was the highest grossing film of the year, though, but as we found out last time, we can't underestimate Avatar. For some fucking reason, people love those movies. I don't understand it. Do people just, like, when they walk up to the theater, you know how some movies give you your 3D glasses? Do they say, all right, can we have your brains, please, before you walk in? Yep, here you go. All right, go enjoy the pretty lights.
You put your brain in the popcorn bucket.
That's the only explanation that makes sense for me. You have to do a lobotomy before going in.
I know. I don't get it. I do not get people having sex with animals. I don't get it.
That movie's going to be the big winner, I foresee, because the second one was received very well. If the second one had been, received poorly, or like retroactively the word of mouth was, it wasn't actually that good, maybe it would suffer. But the second one was universally loved, so the third one's going to blow things out.
We could see a $3 billion movie with the third one. We could see that.
It's definitely possible. It's hard to overestimate this franchise.
I don't put anything past that franchise anymore.
Yeah, and
anything,
and it's so fucking
beyond my
dumb,
understanding.
And here's the sad thing about that: it's going to make Disney money, because the all the budgetary stuff was added into the last movie, and they rolled over what they did to make the third movie. So the budget will probably be much smaller. Listed for the third movie, and we'll believe it, because that's how it was always presented. It was an upfront thing to make the second movie so that the third movie would cost less. So Disney's going to make a lot of money on this movie, because they are Fox Studios at this point.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to deny that.
Yeah, they're going to make a couple billion, and it's going to be painful to watch. So there you go. But that's at the end of the year. We'll come back to that. Right now, though, we mentioned it, the beginning of the three-way dance in July. We'll start with Jurassic World Evolution, or Rebirth, whatever the fuck it's called. And here's the thing. Outside of a silly poster and a couple of trailers that have been like, "Yay, the Retardosaurus is your villain." Have we heard anything negative attached to the promotion of this movie?
Nope, as far as I'm aware of, I've been keeping an eye on it. It's actually out the day before my birthday, so guess what? I probably might be seeing that weekend.
But think about it, I mean, ScarJo, she's been out saying some other things, but ScarJo is not a lightning rod for controversy.
No.
She could say dumb leftist commie marks is shit, and people just go, "Oh, you're just it's ScarJo. We don't care."
The dumb blonde.
Yeah, dumb blonde. So ScarJo is not a detriment even when she shoots her mouth off on stuff.
Well, the only bad thing I've heard about this movie, and it's a meme, it's not negative, is the poster where she's bigger than the T-Rex on it or whatever. Everyone's like, "Oh, we just have a kaiju fight between ScarJo." That's it, and that's just a meme. That's not even a bad thing. Yeah,
silly poster.
That's not going to hurt the movie. That just shows you how much people are looking forward to this. And even people who are more fans of the original trilogy rather than the new trilogy, they're starting to be interested because they're bringing in stuff from the original book that was never in the original film. They're bringing back the original writer. And the original writer has had some good comments. And I am concerned, though. He did say when it was first announced or a little while ago that they won't retcon anything from prior movie, just try to make it work. And so I wish they'd retcon. Yeah, I wish they retcon or ignore Fallen Kingdom and Dominion especially. But I like the decision he's making with putting all the dinosaurs around the equator. They're already around the world. They somehow multiplied in 2 years to dominate every continent somehow. But it didn't make sense they were in the far north in snow and Dominion. So at least he's trying to course correct, I'd say it. So there's a lot of, at least decent news surrounding this movie. There's not a whole lot of controversy, and that's surprising to me in this day and age.
Just like nerd controversy, which is nothing. So that's it. There's no.
It looks dumb as shit. Yeah, it's a video game plot. We got to get 3 samples from dinosaur eggs to cure cancer. What?
But
what are you talking
dinosaurs?
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
It's going to make trillions.
We have been saying this since the beginning of this discussion of July. Dinosaurs. And now here we are, less than a month away from its premiere. No controversies. Nothing. Nothing to detract from people's general excitement for the movie, whatever it may be. Now let's turn the page. Up next on the 14th, James Gunn's Superman. Nothing but controversy. From bad trailers, from and just every word out of James Gunn's lying mouth. Every word. As I said before, we have had this story going around for a little while. It's not anything new, but it now has reached a point of the where the shills cannot ignore it because no one's going to believe that this movie has a budget of $200 million.
No one believes that.
No one believes that. But James Gunn tried to push that so much so that the Hollywood Reporter actually came out and said, "Wait a minute. What about the tax document that we've been talking about in discussions for a while?" The tax document says that it has a budget of $363 million. And that was just that was the original. That's before reshoots, which we know they've been doing. James Gunn just said this week, we're finally done with the movie. He first said that. We're less than a month away. He just said we're finally done. So they were still going. And on top of that, the marketing campaign. The marketing campaign has been massive. Clips here, this, that, there. They're talking about toys. And the latest thing on top of that, Fortnite. The new season of Fortnite.
No shot.
This is right from it. Now, of course, I'm using this pathetic creature's Twitter for it because he of course thinks it's great. This guy, this gay man who has a woman as his beard, because I've seen it paraded around on this social media, trying to tell us that this is hot for Fortnite.
All the same problems with this suit are the problems with the movie suit. All the things I dislike.
Right there, that right there.
The texture on the arms, the collar, the way the cape comes into it, the underwear looks good, the belt looks good, the boots look good, but that's about it. Yeah, I don't like the symbol.
Yeah, well, they can't. Well, we know.
Wait, hold. That's my favorite Superman symbol. That's the Kingdom Come Superman. So I like this symbol. I really like this symbol. I like the underwear. I like the crest. I'm not a fan of the cape.
No.
And I don't really like the boots that much.
No.
But
it's
using the rebirth design in the suit is meh.
That collar.
But yeah, that neckline is bad. That neckline is really bad. But that's all that's all rebirth. That's all rebirth Superman with the weird neckline thing. But yeah.
How does CW look better?
Ain't that sad?
Yeah, that is sad.
That's a rough sentence.
So we look at this, and now Fortnite's coming off a very successful season with the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
very well received. I think it's all stupid because I don't like Fortnite, but
I haven't played Fortnite since they butchered Greek mythology like a year and a half ago.
But but Fortnite's having a very successful season, and then here comes James Gunn's Superman. They had to pay money to get it in here. They had to pay Epic Games money. They had to pay a lot of stuff for all these things going on. This movie easily is going to be over $400 million, just like they're talking about here. According to a report, Warner Bros. Will be preparing to spend as much as $200 million on global marketing. So if we're at 363, that's over $500 million. Add on another easy, let's just say, let's be conservative. Add on another 50 million for reshoots. We'll be conservative.
Mm-hmm.
We're basically at $600 million for this movie. That means it needs 1.3, 1.4 to break even. Disaster.
And $2 billion to justify its existence.
And not just that, Dre, to justify James Gunn's DCU's existence. We have to remember
his job should be on the line for this film, just in general. Whether or not it was good, whether or not he was doing a good job, this is the start of the cinematic universe. His job should be dependent upon this film doing well, which is why I think they shouldn't have announced all the other stuff and gone overboard with the whole cinematic universe. Just start simple, like Iron Man. Just be like, all right, we're going to make one good movie and then figure it out from there. We can have ideas written down in the background. We can, try to set up stuff, but we're focusing all our attention on making this the best movie possible because it all rides on it. And yeah, you might generate a little bit of excitement if you announce the stuff early, but not if you contradict it all. How much of what we've seen from that original Gods and Monsters announcement is actually coming out? The Green Lantern show and Supergirl's been changed so many times that I don't think it counts as being part of the original announcement.
It was on there, but they moved it forward. It was towards the end, and they shifted it around.
That's a whole lot of nothing. Oh, and shout out to Ruben X. Yes, you're right. It was New 52 Superman. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Good correction. Point is
the thing.
Oh, go finish off.
Oh, just the thing I'm thinking out of all of this is James Gunn should have learned his lesson, though. As much as we wanted him to come back for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, after the reason why that film was a maybe happening with his cancellation, you should stay off social media, all right? That nearly nuked your career. Stop going on social media. Stop fighting with people about Superman or this overall franchise. Stop lying like you're saying. Just stay off social media. And I think if James Gunn had done this, his cinematic franchise would be in a lot better position because he keeps getting caught lying. He keeps getting into fights with people. It's just not looking good for him. He is a central point of the marketing for this franchise. He should be focusing on positive marketing. If he's doing anything, that's what he should be doing. And I think a lot of celebrities these days forget that they are representing their franchises all the time, no matter what they're doing. And that's just an unfortunate reality of the situation. So you should be thinking, all right, how can this tweet help market my image, this film? And he just can't think like that. So he's just spurging out on social media. And a normal person would have learned from his mistake of his original cancellation.
And Jed, you mentioned it a couple minutes ago. Excitement. Marketing is supposed to generate excitement. New stuff will generate excitement. What do we see this week from their marketing? A release of a bunch of posters that look silly and dumb and generated more ridicule than excitement. I was witness to a debate over it in a DM room where people going at it about the posters, and it wasn't even really whether or not they were good or bad, just about why do they look like CW posters? Why? What's going on here? This is what you're putting your money in here. Why is it focusing on characters that are not even relevant to the movie, really? That shouldn't have all this focus. There is a distinct separation between quality and schlock going on here. And what I don't understand is, like you just said, why doesn't James Gunn get a clue that this approach to antagonizing people, to just assaulting them with cheesy looking shit, he doesn't have a clue that, you know what, it's not going to work. It's kind of being rejected because we are now we are almost a month away, slightly over a month away. People should be going like this. Real people, there should be very little, man, I'm worried about this. People should be going, yes, I'm ready. I want to take off. I want to
be counting down the days.
Yes. Well, we are counting down the days.
I just mean general people, like the lead up to Infinity War. I remember people starting that countdown when the movie was announced, like when you found out that it was leading towards Infinity War and the then unnamed fourth Avengers film. People got so fucking excited. I was 14 when I think that announcement came out. All of my friends were like, all right, we're marking our calendars. It's 4 years away, but we're waiting, counting every single day till we get there. That excitement just doesn't exist in Hollywood in general anymore, let alone for superhero franchises.
And this is Superman, one of the 3 most recognizable superheroes in the world, next to Spider-Man and Batman. This is Superman. And nobody is really excited. People are just kind of hoping it's not going to suck. Or saying, I think it'll be good.
The discussion is, will it be better than Man of Steel? Like, it might be better than Man of Steel. That's the best discussion that's being had around this film. Which, Man of Steel, I think Man of Steel is okay. There's good parts about it. There's bad parts about it. It's one of the better Snyder superhero movies. I think it's probably the best DC Snyder movie. There's other better DC movies in general that Snyder didn't direct, but John Kent dying like that bothers me so much.
Bothers a lot of people.
The comic one was, I haven't read the comics, but just finding out about the comic story about how John died of cancer, Jonathan Kent, or what is his name?
Paul Kent. Heart attack.
Right, that's what. It was. But regardless, it was
original death is heart attack. That's his
it was a physical condition and medical issue that Superman couldn't fix, and it gave him humility and perspective. He's not a god, and that seems like such an important aspect of his character that should define him. But instead, it's like, hey, don't save me because people might see you do it. It's dumb. That is dumb. So this movie might be better than Man of Steel just because of that. How does Paul Kent die?
He's not dead.
Well, no, is he going to die in the film?
I don't think so. I think they're going the non-death route, which has been done, and it's been acceptable. But there is a definite problem here. James Gunn has no concept. I mean, Dre, we've seen it over and over again. We've said it over and over again. It feels like James Gunn has disconnected from what Superman stands for, because the other part of this story is there is no truth, justice, and American way in this movie.
James Gunn is a fraud. Let's just get that part out the way.
Yes.
I completely forgot because I pushed it out of my memory. This week I binged Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos.
And you binged it right out of
week and you forgot it.
You consumed it and you binged it right out, huh?
Yep, and I definitely took a nice good country dump and it came right out along with it. This man has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to his own continuity. The stuff that he is writing, he has no idea. Literally in that show, it has all the references to the Suicide Squad, the one that came out a couple years ago, before Peacemaker or whatever, when that's no longer supposed to be canon anymore.
Oh, he said anything he did in the previous DCU is still canon somehow.
But then the new Peacemaker season is going to have that Peacemaker kill that Peacemaker for multiverse bullshit.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. And now this Peacemaker is supposed to not be in the same continuity. This man has no idea what he is doing. And it's fine if you don't know what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with being a semi-retarded baby. That's okay. Just stop touching stuff that you don't understand. Look, what you're going to do with Superman will have ripples effect for the rest of his career. What he is, like, if they're not going to do true justice in the American way and going to get into commie Marxist nonsense, you're done. You're done.
It's official. It's not in the movie. They are no truth, justice, American way in this movie. It's not in it.
Then it's
Well,
over.
you already saw that in the trailer. It's like, I'm not representing America. I'm representing myself.
I mean, the thing is this. Truth, Justice, American Way is so important. Is Superman also a symbol of hope to the world? Yes, but it starts with truth, justice, and the American way because America is a symbol of hope to the world because of freedom, because of our Constitution, because of freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Not just truth, justice, and a better world. So, I mean, it's a disaster just waiting to happen. And I will say it. This movie, I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Tops out somewhere between $400 and $600 million. That's where it goes. I don't think it gets 700-800 million. I think there's that much discontent surrounding this. It might have
I would say 700 is the absolute ceiling. I would agree.
I mean,
if the word of mouth is great, 700 is the ceiling.
But I don't think the word of mouth is great. I think it's going to start somewhat strong because of curiosity, not excitement, curiosity. I think it probably has anywhere between 125 to like 180 opening weekend domestic. I think it could do that. I think it will do that. And international probably mirror that. So it's going to have a strong start, but I think the word of mouth on this movie is going to sink it faster than the Titanic. There's no love. There's no joy. Is there joy? Do you sense joy around this movie right now? Any joy?
I see some Twitter stands.
Stand fingering don't count. Stand self-fingering don't count.
And I do want to point out we are bashing on this film quite a bit or have low expectations for it, but that doesn't mean I want the Snyderverse to come back.
Oh,
I've seen a lot of people say, like, see, Zack Snyder was always right, always better. No, BVS is garbage and deserves to be left in the past.
Yes. I am not a Snyder bro. Jed is not a Snyder bro. Dre is not a Snyder bro. We are not advocating the return of the Snyderverse. I'm advocating give up. Right? I'm advocating give up.
We need wilderness years for all these franchises.
Just stop. This is, I'll say it, and I know that at some way, even a part of that little hopeful side of Dre was saying, Adam, no, don't. Stop with superhero movies. It's over.
Make it niche again.
It's
got to go the way of the Western. Someday there might be a Western revival. Someday there might be a superhero revival, but make it a much smaller niche genre again.
And make the films for 27 cents and a stick of gum. Why all these films cost, the budget of an entire country? Like enough. And cause it's not sustainable. This movie, and like Jed, you said you're predicting capping up at $700 million, right?
High.
Okay.
I think it's more reasonable. I think 550 is kind of where I think it's
sure.
going to go.
No, I'll take your high number. $700 million. It'll be a $700 million flop.
And that's horrible.
Yeah, because it's not going to break even. It doesn't matter how successful it is. It has to make $1 billion to make profit, at least.
At a shot at making profit is $1 billion. To justify its existence, you need $2 billion to justify its existence. This is not a sustainable anything.
No, it's not. Because look, we went over. I'm going to repeat it again. $363 million just for the original shooting in Ohio. Add in conservative $50 million for reshoots. You're over $400 million. Then add in, they say, likely a $200 million marketing campaign, which we're in the middle of right now. That's $600 million.
And then theater cut.
And theater cut. So that's a $1.4 billion break even.
Well, since marketing's cut in, we don't need the 2.5, so it would just be 2. So 1.2.
1.2. Okay, 1.2. All right. So, but still, that's massive. Nothing's hitting 1.2 this year. Not Lilo and Stitch. The biggest success so far this year is not going to hit 1.2.
The only movies that have a chance to get above that are Jurassic Park and Avatar, and they're going to blow past it. I think Jurassic Park's probably going to be 1.5 billion is my guess right now.
I agree. And as we said, freaking Avatar 3, I feel like 3 billion on that. Insane.
Yeah, 3 billion might be on the cards for that one, which is absolutely fine.
And because it's a Christmas movie, they're releasing it around Christmas, so holiday viewing is going to play a huge role in people going to see that. Oh, family, because those movies are marketed on family now. After the second one, that franchise now marketed on family bonds and shit like that. So this movie is going, and I'm going to say it, it's going to be a disaster. And I'm going to say this, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Everybody wants to kind of couch their criticism of this by saying, but I want a good super movie. I want this to be good. I'm going to be the bad guy. I don't want this movie to be good. Because like Dre said, James Gunn is a fraud. And he needs to be shown to be a fraud. And this movie doesn't. This movie must fail so that we can be rid of James Gunn as a creator. Because whatever he's good at, he's not good at it anymore.
Mm-hmm. He needs to make his own stuff, like or it's things that fit his style. I think Guardians of the Galaxy fits his style very well. So if he keeps making movies like that or coming up with his own products, he'll be fairly successful for the rest of his career. But Superman is never going to be a product that he can even hope to imitate the best of. So yeah, he needs to go back to doing his own thing at this point.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we will find out in a little over a month. There will be reviews. Will be discussions. This is part of the triple threat match. We've covered now the first two parts of the triple threat match. We've mentioned dinosaurs. Nothing to talk about. Just say it's going to make money. We've talked about Superman, which has all the problems in the world that we just laid out for you. Well, we didn't even lay them all out here. There's so much more wrong going into that movie, but we didn't even talk about all. We just talked about the immediate. But we cannot forget the retarded stepchild that is participating in this three-way dance, because Superman's going to be bad, but it's not going to be the worst. We've still got baby steps.
That movie's a disaster.
Wait, are you saying you're not believing the reports that Fandango's site has crashed because so many people are pre-ordering Fantastic Four tickets? Even though when people go look up tickets, the theaters are still empty on that site? Yeah. Are you saying you don't believe that it's breaking down?
Yeah, because it didn't crash when people got tickets for Lilo and Stitch, and that's a successful movie.
I don't even think it crashed when Avatar tickets were being sold.
No.
Such a bullshit story.
I think it did crash when I want to say Infinity War and Endgame. I think it did crash for those back in the day. My memory tells me it did. But either way, we've still got Fantastic Four baby steps to deal with in this July three-way dance. And after how much we have criticized Superman, James Gunn Superman, this movie's even worse. The marketing for this has been all over the place. The trailers are mid at best. They don't generate excitement. They haven't generated too much hate. One came out this week, and apparently it's very focused on Sue Storm.
Are we shocked?
No.
Because I'm shocked. I'm so shocked.
So shocked that I need to slap you to get the color back in your face, which will be tough because you're a ginger. But
hey, I'm black now. That's what the internet's told me.
But now we get this, and I mentioned this earlier. Vanessa Kirby, stupidly, has now weighed in on this.
I can't believe she chose this. Sorry, I can't believe she chose this over Mission Impossible.
She really? Really?
The timing wise, she wasn't in the last movie at all.
Well,
barely in the previous one.
Sue Storm is the true leader of the Fantastic Four, according to Marvel producer, as Vanessa Kirby mocks classic Invisible Woman comic portrayal. Let's have a looky dander, shall we? Let me zoom in a little bit. All right,
she used to be hot and a good actress. I liked her in Mission Impossible that she was in, and Hobbs and Shaw. But this is
she doesn't do it for me. She doesn't do it for me. No, she doesn't do it for me. A producer on the Fantastic Four First Steps has made a bold claim about the team's leadership, and it's not Reed Richards wearing the crown. According to producer Grant Curtis, the upcoming Marvel Studios reboot, it will position Sue Storm as the true center and leader of the iconic superhero team. What did we say? Those first trailers. What did we say during those trailers? Every time there was a moment of rallying, of leadership, dialogue in those trailers, who was it being uttered by? Sue Storm.
I think it finally makes sense why they cast Pedro Pascal. He actually gets off on being a beta male cuck, and that's what Reed Richards is. He's a fucking cuck in this movie. So
yeah, I mean, well,
sounds about right.
If the rumors are true, no man wanted this role. No one man they went to wanted this role. And then they decided, hey, let's give it to our good old-fashioned company man cuck, Pedro.
He doesn't say no.
He'll do anything because he's a whore. He'll say anything. He's a whore. He will stop people from raising their hands to wave at people because he's a retard. In a new interview with Collider, Curtis stressed Marvel's approach to the character this time around, suggesting dramatic shift from previous incantations. If you do go back through the comics, you realize that Sue Storm is arguably the leader of the Fantastic Four because without Sue Storm, everything falls apart, Curtis said. He further added that while the film's aesthetic may nod to past versions, the story and character focus are intended to reflect modern sensibilities. We had the desire to date aesthetically, but in terms of character and date treatment, we should be front and center. It's like, hey, let's tell the best story possible. Oh my goodness. How can you get this so wrong? Reed Richards, for all his faults, is the leader of the Fantastic
have
Four.
always gotten Fantastic Four wrong. It's an abomination how you can get this wrong over 20 years. You still get it wrong. They're just doing it wrong in a different way, which is so bizarre. 20 odd years ago, when we had the first Fantastic Four film, it was just dumb. That's it. It was dumb. Then the sequel was dumber than that.
Cloud.
Then Fan Four Stick was an abomination to the eyes. And now this, once again, a decade later from that point, is a disaster for the MCU nonsense. They cannot get the Fantastic Four right to save their lives. They can be threatening somebody's mama right now. Say, get it right, and they better say their goodbyes because their mama ain't going to be with them. It's a disaster every single time. How hard is it to do Fantastic Four? It's easy. It's dumb easy. Just make a family film. Literally, make a family film with action sequences. That's it. That is it. Just do Johnny Quest with Fantastic Four and you win.
Have Brad Bird make it. He's already done a good Fantastic Four movie with The Incredibles.
Well, the first one. That's
yes, the first one.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yo, you have too much riding on this film to not get it right, and they do everything in their power to screw it up. Like it's like messing up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's like what do you need to make this sandwich? Onions? No, you moron. Peanut butter and jelly, and these morons are just blowing it sky high, and it's not even frustrating. Like apathy has set in for years, but it's just shame. It's shame that this has to keep on happening, and now Sue Storm's the leader. No one cares about Sue Storm. Let me be clear. No one cares about Sue Storm. I'm going to say it one more time for the coloreds in the back. No one cares about Sue Storm ever. For decades. No one cares.
But she's holding the whole team together.
But
she's holding these nuts. That's all the things she's holding together.
According to Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm in The First Steps, echoed similar statements. Speaking about the balance portraying Sue as a mother, wife, sister, and superhero, Kirby emphasized avoiding stereotypical portrayals of femininity, framing these traditional elements in a negative light. It's the reality of embracing being pregnant and then carrying a baby throughout without falling into tropes or the archetypes we see in the film around it. And
I want a pregnant Fantastic Four fight sequence. I want her 9 months pregnant, doing the whole fight, still doing all the stunts. I need that in my life because that would just be so fucking hilarious.
Oh, we know baby Franklin's going to be in the movie. They showed it off in the trailer this week.
I'm surprised he's not black, considering who his descendant is.
And it's a daily choice. And even when it came to the beginning of costumes or things, I was like, don't give me any dolly-like skirts. Shut up. Just shut up and look pretty. That's your job. Shut up and look pretty. But no. I gotta be a strong women's. I want the yes queens to fill the air as I'm praised. Because look at me. I'm on stage, and Pedro Pascal has to hold my hand to feel secure. Okay, I'm in charge. I'm Vanessa Kirby. I'm Sue Storm. I'm so Sue Storm that even though we have a baby together and we might be married, I'm keeping my original last name. I'm not Sue Richards. I'm Sue Storm. Shut up. Shut up. This is controversy. Once again, I come back to my statements from before. Jurassic Park, no controversy. Superman, covered in controversy. Fantastic Four, covered in controversy. All this does is piss off the real fans who are now even more dug in and not going to go see this movie. And the stands, they don't count. They don't count at all. Director Max Shackman described Sue Storm previously as the emotional and moral compass of the team. No, he actually said the world. He actually said the world in these things. We talked about this.
She's the leader of the world.
She's the emotional leader of the world. They have set all this shit up. Here it is. If he's the most scientifically intelligent person, and then she's the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet. Between the two of them, they're building a better, idealistic, commie Marxist society. This film is going to bomb. Its budget, we don't have a budget yet, but we know $250 minimum. And it's the heavy marketing campaign too. So this thing is going to be over $300 million. It's going to need 7 to 8 to break even, maybe even 9. And it's only going to make
5 would be lucky for it.
It's going to make 550. I mean, I'm going to say it again. What's been my equation for the MCU? The excitement equation, the enthusiasm equation. Here we are. Black Falcon, Captain America, Daredevil, the Thunderbolts in literally less than 20 days. Riri Williams, and then baby steps. All flops leading into it, and now incoming major flop because they can't keep their mouth shut, and it only gets worse. Pedro Pascal says he loves being led by powerful women as Sue Storm takes the lead.
Of course he said that.
Thank you. This is not a man. This is not Reed Richards. This is a joke. I love being led in a way, Pascal said when asked about working opposite Kirby. What you may identify as generosity for me, it just isn't. I'm only inspired by, I guess, just powerful women have been the thing that has gotten me through being alive. So to have the opportunity to stand by one, to learn from one, just a partner, it's partnership, it's male and female, but it's also just a kind of transcendent sort of partnership in the work and the characters. And so I don't really know what the F I'm going to do without you, Vanessa, honestly.
Is Vanessa married? Because she should be very concerned. I know she's pregnant, I think, for the first time right
pregnant.
now.
She's pregnant,
yeah.
Yes. You're
if I were her husband, I'd be concerned about this man. And Pedro, I feel like Pedro wants a dummy mommy. That's what he just said.
Pedro just wants to get pegged. He just wants to get pegged. That's the closest he's going to get to a woman. She's the one doing the action.
Aren't we all looking forward to the Fantastic Four showing up in Doomsday and subsequent films and just talking about, oh, we had it better. We were a communist paradise. What? You guys still have money or whatever it is, shit like that constantly?
Yeah.
That's going to be so much fun.
This is a joke. We should be saying this is a joke. Dre, we should be saying this isn't real.
We should be paired. This should be a script from Robot Chicken. That's what this should be.
Yeah.
But it's not. This is really happening, and it's a daggone shame. I get that Hollywood never learns their lessons, and it'll probably end up as Detroit in some way, shape, or form. No offense to anybody that lives in Detroit. No offense to y'all. But Detroit had a reputation at one point to be a powerhouse of an industry, and then all those industries left, and Detroit became the first city in American history to file for bankruptcy. Hollywood is going that direction. It's going to fall, and it will become Detroit. And this is just the dominoes lining up because the money's not there, the creativity's not there, no talent is there. It's over. And this is just a symptom of a much bigger disease. And the only way to get rid of the cancer is to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time. It's time. And I'm glad I'm able to bear witness to the fall of Hollywood and the fall of films, because it's time for something new. Adam, everything must die for anything else to be saved. And this is it. I think 2025 is it. Because these are record flops in a row.
Multiples.
Like taking out the COVID year, this might be the worst flopping year of films I've ever seen.
Well, we say that every year since COVID. It's like, besides COVID, this is the worst year for box office. The next year, besides COVID, this is the worst year for box office. Besides COVID, this is the worst year for box office. In a few years, we might be saying it beat COVID.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just getting worse and worse. Flop after flop after flop. Disney, how many movies have made money for them in the past 6 years?
I can count on one hand. I can count on one hand.
A handful. Since Endgame, how many movies that Disney made have made a decent enough profit to justify its own existence?
That answers like what? 2? Maybe.
Money I mean, Avatar 2 made money, but that was already done when Disney bought Fox.
Yeah.
That was done. They inherited that success.
They inherited that one. They had Inside Out 2, Lilo and Stitch now.
I think a couple small
Deadpool and Wolverine.
And that Deadpool Wolverine, that's an outlier.
That was Fox.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a Fox movie.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was made during this time, it was a nostalgia Fox movie.
It wasn't for nostalgia Fox, but Disney still made it.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't count No Way Home because Sony took that money home. You count on one hand.
Yeah,
and this year you'll still be able to count it on one hand.
Do we count Pixar in that?
Oh,
because Inside Out 2 had money to justify its existence.
That's the one I mentioned. Yeah, I would still count. If we're counting Marvel, we got to count Pixar.
Yeah, but I mean, how many flops have offset those?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, Disney MCU is failing. Disney Star Wars is failing. Yes, will Lilo and Stitch kind of make up for a couple of those flops a little bit? Yes, but it's all going to be pulled away and wiped out in the next few months. And yes, will Avatar 3 make money? But that's not this fiscal year. That's next fiscal year, because it's December. And fiscal years begin in October.
Will Lilo and Stitch make enough money just to make up for Snow White's loss?
If Snow White has only made a total of under $250 million, and its budget required it, I believe we said it needed around 6 or 650 to break even, maybe even 700. It's lost probably somewhere around, I want to say, $300 to $400 million. So Lilo and Stitch has made probably, I think, about $400 million at this point, maybe 5.
So Lilo and Stitch isn't offsetting a financial disastrous year. It's offsetting
Balancing
like one disaster.
Yeah, because Black Falcon Captain America lost a couple $100 million. Thunderbolts lost a couple $100 million. Daredevil went into the black hole that is Disney Plus, lost money. And remember, Andor for its entirety cost $650 million.
That's insane.
They could have gotten viewership like this finale of MASH, the most watched episode of television of all time right now, and they still wouldn't have made any profit off of that. Streaming services can't make money when you spend that kind of budget. It's impossible. So it doesn't matter if Andor was the most successful TV show since God invented television. It's still a financial black hole disaster.
And you say that. Yes, did Andor chart high on the Nielsen's for its finale? Yes, it hit the top 5. But that was a 3-episode drop. And when you break it down in those types of numbers, that's massively underwhelming. There is no audience for Disney Star Wars. There's no audience for the MCU. There's no audience for any of their shit. So yes, they are losing money. And when Baby Steps comes out with its likely $600 million budget, where is it? Let me get back on that graphic there. I lost it. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. When it comes out with a $650 million budget, it's going to fail. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Superman. Sorry, that was Superman I was thinking of. Sorry. Its budget of likely like 300 million. Sorry. It was Park Place in my mind got...
Well, I don't think Fantastic Four is far off because a lot of the Marvel movies these days have been costing $350 million on average. This film, because it has a lot more to spend on set design than a lot of the other MCU films, at least 400, marketing comparable to Superman. So I'd say it's right on the same track where it needs about 1.2 to break even.
Thank you for rescuing me.
That wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form because, if the average is $350 million budget, this film looks like it's more expensive than the average. Extreme marketing, same situation as Superman.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for saving me there.
You're welcome.
This movie will fail. It will fail, and it will come in third. And that's hard to say with how much shit we gave Superman. This movie is still worse and will come in third. And there you go. And then Disney MCU is done for the year. They've got nothing else after this for the rest of the year. Nothing.
Not in theaters.
Vision Quest won't be done this year. I don't think that's coming.
Well, there's an animated Wakanda show. Ironheart is still going afterwards, I think.
I think they end around the same time.
Okay, but there's a couple small TV shows that no one gives a shit about.
Ironheart's doing a 3-episode drop, and then it's only got like 6 episodes. So it's going to end right when this starts.
And Dre, you're going to be reviewing all of that for us?
Under no circumstance.
But it was made for you.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you want to be iconic?
Yeah, it's made for middle-aged black guys to look at garbage. Please. What a waste.
Garbage is the best way to put all of this. The MCU is garbage. It's not going to win. It's going to fail. And we'll be here for it. Clapping and cheering it all the way to its failure. All right, that's that. Before we go any further, I just want to do this real quick. It's that time of the month, which means free gifties. There you go, guys. Free gifties for everybody in the chat. 5 free memberships. We hope you enjoy them. You get access to my old gaming playthroughs in the membership section. That's dozens of hours of just me playing games. And as the channel starts to grow and do more things, I will be making sure there's more membership perks, like you can vote on stuff this here and there. So stay tuned for that. As soon as we get rolling on things, I'll make sure you guys are getting more money's worth for those things. All right. So we're done with movies. We're done talking movies. Let's talk gaming.
Do we have to?
Yes, we have to. It's the job. Switch 2 dropped this week. Switch 2 dropped. And as we were... that's the wrong article. As we were discussing earlier in the back room, without a doubt, despite our personal criticism, and we've tried to be objective in covering the release of the Switch 2, despite our personal objective criticisms of all this, the Switch 2 has been a successful launch. We always said it was going to be a successful launch. Our point is it could have been better. They have released over, at this point, we are now, what was the 6 was 2 days ago. Or they made it, I'm sorry, it was released on Tuesday, right? That's when it dropped on, well, no, Thursday. No,
Thursday.
Okay, yeah. So Thursday, 2 days ago. Over 3 million units globally.
This is an unsubstantiated leak or rumor, but yeah, that's the only sales number we have at this point. 3 million units sold globally in 24 hours, which isn't as much as I expected. With all the footage that we've seen of people lining up in front of every store that could possibly carry it, I thought it'd be a lot higher worldwide. I'd say 3 million would be a reasonable one for just the United States.
But, I mean, this is, as you said before,
hold on, Adam, before you go on. Jed, you were expecting higher numbers at this point or lower?
For worldwide, I was expecting higher at this point worldwide.
Okay, for worldwide numbers. Okay.
Yeah, if this was just the United States, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think we have real numbers. That's my point.
Yeah,
Sure.
We know in Japan they were slated to drop several million on launch day.
Mhm.
They were freaking out over there. So I think this is a partial number. I'm going to say its real number is probably globally somewhere between 6 and 10 million globally. I feel like that's a more realistic thing, and that's a really good first drop in the bucket. That's really good. It's only going to grow with
fantastic.
time. It's only going to grow with time. But our arguments have been, it could have been so much more. It could have been so much more. And now, having been listening to the experiences of the Switch 2 for the past couple of days, I feel as though a lot of people are underwhelmed to an extent. Now, we have guys like this. I showed this one earlier in the week on Double D. This guy literally spent, and he admitted it in a post that day. This is $1,000 right here.
Jesus.
Worth of merch for the Switch 2.
I don't understand this. I honestly don't, because every single one of these games, if you wanted them, they're old relatively.
Except for World.
Except for World. Besides World, of course.
Yeah.
These are stuff that have been on platforms for several years. Zelda, Breath of the Wild's been out since 2017, I think. And Cyberpunk's been out since 2020. These are games that have been out for a long time. Why didn't you have them before? And if you had them before, why are you getting these new copies? Because these new copies, they're not even remasters. They don't count as remasters. They're at best a next-gen update. For most of them, it's just it's the same game, just the new hardware is able to run it a little bit better. There's a few changes in the Pokemon games from what I've heard, and that's just spawn rate. It makes Scarlet and Violet easier, actually, because shinies spawn a lot more frequency. That's the only real change that I've heard about for the new version. And Hogwarts Legacy, it's out on Switch, and it looks terrible. Even on Switch 2, it looks terrible. This isn't something that I get. I honestly don't understand why people are spending this type of money for this console. I own most of these games already. Why would I want to buy a console to replay games that I already have that might look slightly prettier? In the end, it's $500 for one game, Mario Kart World, and I honestly, this isn't anger. This isn't me just saying, oh, you're stupid for doing it or anything like that. I'm happy for the people who are enjoying this. I just physically cannot understand how people justify that kind of money for so little return.
And justify is a good word, because when you look at this list right here, the Switch 2 Game Pro controller, we have on actual authority that this one right here works on the Switch 2. If this guy's as diehard a Switch person as as he claims to be, a Nintendo guy, he probably already has a controller for the Switch 1. Why would you buy a new one for the Switch 2? And also, moron. And at the same time, within 48 hours, people have already showed you can turn your phone into a camera for the Switch 2. You don't
pretty much any external camera will work.
You don't need to spend $60 on this. And then we go down the line here. One new game. This guy bought one Nintendo exclusive new game. All these other things are on other systems with better versions. And then you bought a memory card and amiibos.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm a little confused.
Go ahead.
What you need a camera for the Switch?
Oh, because in Mario Kart World, you can play it where it cuts out your head from the webcam and puts you above your character, so you can see. And it does a little spin. If you get hit by a shell, your little camera will. That's what it's good for.
I need more pills. I need more pills.
This was a problem with a lot of Nintendo consoles. You have to buy that external memory card just to do anything on it. I don't know why, but Nintendo products have always been at a much lower standard. They're finally running 60 frames per second on these games. The industry standards have been 60 frames per second since at least the PS4 generation. I'd say 2017, most games should run 60 frames per second was kind of the industry standard. Now, after, 8 years ago, Switch and Nintendo finally accomplished that, and everyone's like, hey, you did it. You're so great. I love you. Let me give you all my money. Why are we letting the standards be so low for Nintendo? You have to buy external hard or external SDs just to make it work. It's barely running at 8 years ago industry standard. Why are we allowing Nintendo to get away with this? Honestly, a consumer mentality I've never seen be worse than it is with Nintendo. It doesn't matter what they do. People just love it. And I don't understand that. Be critical. I love a lot of the Nintendo products. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, absolutely love them. Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, and I'm playing classic Nintendo right now. Just got my N64 working again, playing Donkey Kong 64 for the first time in a long time. Loving it. I'm not a Nintendo hater because that's what I've been classified for, just saying, hey, be critical of Nintendo. Treat them like you do everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's an unreasonable position, apparently. That makes me an extremist and an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this last week.
Oh,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
so I've been on my I was on my Mega Drive last weekend, which is the Sega Genesis. Instead of playing around with some silly modern console that wants me to constantly use the internet all the time.
We look at this right here. His excitement is for getting things that are old. But Mario Kart World, as we said, was what this console has been marketed with. Now, I have been watching several streams of Mario Kart. I've watched it. Personally, people are having fun playing it. We can't deny people are having fun playing it. No denying. But it hasn't revolutionized anything. There's no revolutionary things in Mario Kart World. In fact, its biggest selling point seems to be when there's 24 carts on the road, it's just chaos and explosions.
and there's no finesse, there's no skill involved.
I have seen some of the worst players win first place just because of chance, because of what happens. Unless you're doing that whole elimination round thing where you kind of have to, as it gets smaller, then you got to actually race a little bit. There's no kart racing, as you said, finesse to this. There's no skill required. There's a lot of luck, and it's just messed out because these roads on Mario Kart World are wide and a lot of straightaways. There's no little shortcuts. There's nothing this and that. From what I can see, it's mostly straightaways, which has been a criticism. Now, people have criticized the game, say it's fun, but it's lacking this. It's not as competitive and hardcore as Deluxe 8. But this is what you got. This is what you got.
$500 for it.
And I simply question, is this what a true successful launch should look like?
I mean, it's unequivocally a success, but it should have been so much better. We shouldn't be spending $500 on a game and go, yeah, it's fun. It's not great, but it's fun. That should not be the response. If you're spending that much money on it, it should be the greatest game you've ever played. It should blow you away.
Yeah.
And I think this launch should have been bigger. It's unequivocally going to be one of the biggest launches of all time. But with a little bit better marketing, a little bit better customer service, with more launch titles, it would have blown away the competition to be unequivocally the best of all time. Imagine if a Pokemon and a Animal Crossing game and a Mario game came out at launch with Mario Kart. Everybody and their mama would be picking up one day one, and it would just blow everything out of the water. I probably would have gotten one because there would have been games to buy it for it. There's no real games worth buying for this that you can't get for cheaper on another console that look just as good, if not way better.
Now, let me check. I think I might have bookmarked it. Let me take a quick look right here to see if I also have it there. What people are doing with this, when I say people, I mean gamers. Oh, that's not it. When gamers are doing this, you just said it. What is there to buy? What is there to play? Oh, there's stuff to play. There is without a doubt stuff to play. But if we go back to looking at this, I guess I didn't bookmark it. I thought I bookmarked it. I did not. I apologize. I will use our good friends of the channel, Melee Games, Melee James and Melee Charisma. They bought in. They bought the stuff. But they're having the most fun with the GameCube stuff for it. That's where they're having their fun. So, yes, are they having fun with it? Did they spend the money a good time? But they bought retro stuff to play for it. The retroized versions, the retroized remakes for the Switch 2. There is nothing new to do. And here's the test. How fast does the Mario Kart World streams fall off? Everybody played it the past 48 hours. We'll be playing it a week from now. We'll be playing in 2 weeks. Yes, there's a roadmap, but the roadmap is for skins.
They're not for Yeah, not for anything worth replaying the game for. And I like you're saying, what's going to be the fallout? More importantly, I think, what is the fallout for turning off the open world, which is the whole thing this is marketed. It's called Mario Kart World because it's introducing a open world that's completely empty and has nothing to do. You can turn that off in the settings. You can just run tracks traditionally. How long before 99% of Mario Kart World players turn off the open world because it's boring and pointless?
And I've heard you can complete the story mode of this, the Grand Prix mode, you complete it in a day. You can unlock all that shit in a day. You're done, and then you're just waiting to race with your friends. And while that's fun, how long does this keep going? How long before people go back not to Mario Kart 8, but just stop streaming these things? Because what's there to stream? I mean, now I've seen a resurgence of Tears of the Kingdom clips now that people are playing that, especially coming out of Japan. But that's already been done. This isn't.
It's nothing new.
Yeah, that's I can create weird gadgets that are killing beasties again or flying machines. That 2 years ago would like to talk to you for this stuff. It's a resurfaced meme is all it is. So success undoubtedly, but I simply want to once again make the point: where's the excitement, momentum? And I've also heard I have heard complaints that the Switch crashes a lot. Switch 2 crashes a lot on games. That is crashing on games. That the system is not very optimized to run all this stuff, especially if you're running Switch 1 games on it.
Yeah, I have heard a lot about technical difficulties with it.
There's some, and I've even heard somebody already hacked one. They already broke it. They already broke into it, which means you might get bricked. Because remember, Nintendo's user agreement, they will brick it for any reason. And as Jed brought up a few weeks ago, your only outlet is to go to the United States Supreme Court. That's your outlet.
According to a lawyer's website. So, reputable enough source.
Yeah. So I feel as though we should be much more joyous about this. But the joy, to an extent, for me, feels forced. For a lot of this, people just going, I love my Switch 2. I played Mario Kart World, and I have old games that I already played. Yay!
No, I want to pose something to you.
Okay.
What if every single thing that is true about this launch, one launch title exclusive, the quality, like the level of graphics available, the hardware available, the issues, like everything that we've just talked about for the Switch 2, and we change the word Nintendo to Xbox
or Sony,
just change it to one of the others.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Change no other facts than the brand. Would this be successful launch?
No, the sky is falling. Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft are getting ridiculed, and people are saying Nintendo a lot, but people will be hardcore calling Sony bronies and whatever the derogatory term for Xbox is, Xbox bros, whatever. I don't know what it is because I don't pay attention to this wannabe console war that's still going on. It would be world is ending. World is ending.
It would be
Shame
an
on you.
unequivocal failure. It would lose money hand over fist. And I'm not a fan of double standards. I don't care what the double standards are, what companies are involved. I think it's hypocrisy. I honestly believe that even the same customers, if the brand was changed, they would be bashing the hell out of this console. But because it's Nintendo, I think it's hypocritical. I'm going to say I'm still happy for people who are enjoying it, but if they're not able to realize, hey, if the brand was different, would you have a different reaction?
You are absolutely right, because think about this. When the PS5 launched, when the Series X, whatever, blah, 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 launched, what was the major argument? Where are my exclusives? Where are my exclusives? Shame on you, Sony, for launching the PS5 without exclusives. PC Master Race. Shame on you, Xbox, for not sharing your exclusives. Well, we'll just wait for Game Pass then. That's all there was. Nintendo launches their console. Nintendo, who is the king of exclusives, they have one. Two.
That's shameful.
Two more will drop several months, but they have one. And you are right. Nobody is pointing the finger like they would at Sony or Microsoft right now. Nobody's pointing that finger. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Completely right. And that's shameful.
I honestly think this launch should fail because of this, because Nintendo, it's been kicked in the pants before with the Wii U, and then it came out with the Switch, and that was generally loved because it did have some legitimate technical advancements with the handheld in the handheld sphere, and they gave you great games, great exclusives. The only way for Nintendo to get good again, to give actual great content, is for them to fail. But as long as these people are giving a double standards, being hypocritical about this, and having such low standards in general for Nintendo, they're just going to be, honestly, lazy. I feel like this launch was lazy on the part of Nintendo, and they can get away with it. So why not be lazy if they can make billions of dollars from being lazy?
The accurate response is, to be fair, if you're going to go after Sony ponies and Xbox bros, you got to say the Nintendo drones will always show up and they'll cheer. Yeah, listen, each one of us knows a Nintendo drone in some way, shape, or form. Who are just like, yay, even though they got one game to play.
It's a little shameful, honestly.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I think the Switch, it should have been called the Super Switch. I'm on that team. That Super Switch is better
I was always
than
on
Switch
that
2.
Team. Always on that team.
Especially with, I don't know if you guys have heard, there are people in foreign countries who are selling the OLED and calling it Switch version 2 and tricking people into thinking it's the Switch 2.
But
because they're technically right. It is the OLED is the Switch version 2.
Yeah.
So they're not lying.
Yeah.
So there's the loophole. But yeah, it should have been Super Switch. But if the Switch 2 would have failed abysmally because of these poor decisions and people actually treated them like and Nintendo like they treated everybody else, the Switch 3 or whatever came next would blow people's minds. Nintendo needs kicks in the pants occasionally to keep innovating. They get complacent. Of all the companies out there, they get the most complacent with success, and they're allowed to get away with it. We need another kick in the pants.
When you have a dude who's going to show up and spend $1,000, majority of which shit he already has, why try?
And he's not a minority.
No, a lot of people like that. You're right.
I just can't fathom it. I can't justify this. Like, I'm not a poor person by any stretch of the imagination, but I can't sit there and say $500 for a good game is a good financial decision. I think it's poor financial planning. I think it's poor financial decision making to spend $500 for a game. I don't get that perspective at all.
And that is what happened. And listen, it's gonna, for its lifetime, the Switch 2 will likely only grow in its lifetime sales. It'll probably eventually have a good library of games. It'll be a matter of time. But there is a definite level of hypocrisy in the treatment of this launch. There's a definite level of, I would just say, laziness, as you just said, when it comes to Nintendo, and indifference. Nintendo's also indifferent to its actual customers. They don't care because they know accurately to present it. Nintendo drones will show up and go, please, sir, can I have more? Take my money.
Just remember that news story that we got a couple weeks ago from the creators of Dragon Age. The producers reportedly said, hey, you don't target these games to RPG fans or whatever it was, because the weirdos in their basement will show up and buy any RPG just because it's an RPG. We target a different audience, and in that case, it was a woke political audience is what they were going for.
Yeah.
That's essentially what Nintendo's does, is disregard their core fan base because they know their core fan base will slock it up. And so this is the implementation of that same mentality, but no one's calling them out like we called out the Dragon Age people.
No.
And same thing with Ubisoft saying, get used to not owning your games. Nintendo's doing that in practice, but no one's calling them out like they called out the Ubisoft guy.
No.
These people are saying things and getting destroyed for them. Nintendo is acting upon the same ideas and are getting rewarded for it.
Because they're Nintendo.
Action should speak louder than words, but they don't when it comes to Nintendo.
I heard a good line. How can you say, we always say vote with your wallet.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but dude dropped $1,000 on literally mostly nothing. So it's hard to counterbalance that when they're willing to just hand that money over like that for nothing.
And this is an argument that I've heard from actually people I know about why it's still a good financial decision or justifiable to buy the Switch 2 right now, because it's an investment for the future and you're investing in the future exclusives that will come out. And I think there's an easy response to that. When there's exclusives I want, I'll buy it then. It might even
Thank
be
you.
on sale. Why
mean-
why would I go through all the hassle of waiting in line for a night release for a
That's
game I don't
perfect.
care about?
Perfect. I mean, I've said this before.
Yeah.
I will buy a console when there are games I want. The only time I ever bought a console at launch, well, I bought it. Not a gift from my parents. That's a different scenario. I bought it. Was, I would say, the PlayStation 1. Because I didn't have a 64 because I'm not 64. My Super Nintendo, its days were over in terms of new games. So here's the new generation. You got the 64, you got the Saturn, you got your PS1. What you gonna do? Sega. I did get a Saturn, and I made the mistake of buying it for one game, a game that eventually came out for the PS1, PS2, because they canceled it on the Saturn. I made that mistake. That was dumb. But what was I going to do? I'm a gamer. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Wow, Sony's got a good library. They've already got RPGs coming out. Square Enix, then Squaresoft then is going to keep making Final Fantasy games for the PlayStation. Okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going where the games are. Since the PlayStation 1, I haven't bought a console at launch. I mean, I waited a little while for the PlayStation 2. I definitely waited for the PlayStation 4. I waited like a year for the PlayStation 4. One, I had to save for it, but two, there were no games. And I waited 2 years almost for the PlayStation 5 because one, we had a hard time getting them. We understand what's going on there, but also there were no games I wanted yet. The library had to come out, and then suddenly here are 5-6 games I want. Boom! And now I've got like 17, 20 games for my PS5 now. Since I bought it, so I buy the games when they're there. There's no reason. I'm right there. There is no reason to buy a console at launch if it doesn't have a good library. There just isn't.
I've never bought a console at launch. I also haven't, been an adult long enough for that to be super relevant.
Yeah. Listen, my own. Let's be honest. And I said PS1, but I also that was still bought. I was a teenager. My mom still got that for me. That was still a gift.
Mm-hmm.
The only consoles I've bought for myself as an adult, a working, breathing adult, I've bought some retro consoles that I missed. I bought them used, but I got them in the 2000s. I bought myself a PS4 twice actually, because one broke and I had to get it replaced. And I bought myself the PS5 and a Switch. So in my adult life making money, if you add on like 3 or 4 retro consoles, I've bought myself 4 consoles in my adult life with my adult earned money. And none of them were bought at launch. None of them were bought at launch.
I've done that myself as well. The ones I've bought in recent years, PlayStation 1, I actually saved up for that because I remember emptying out my piggy bank and actually having money all over the sitting room floor at the time. I kind of got that one.
Wait, I got a PS3. I got a PS3 to mine. I did buy a PS3. I bought a PS3. I did buy the PS3.
I saved up for the Wii U, and then the PlayStation 4, and my most recent one was the Switch, and that was about it. Really, that's about 4 I bought myself. Once I made sure that there was enough games I was actually interested in getting for that particular console.
Well, that's the mindset that most normal people come to this with when it's not a Nintendo product. Like, I'm still on the PS4 generation. I have no interest in a 5 until there are exclusives I want on there. If Ragnarok had been a PS5 exclusive, that would have been a game that would have tempted me towards that. But most people think that way. Why are we getting an investment for a game or a console that we can buy later when there's stuff we want on it? It's just gonna. If I were to buy a Switch 2 right now, it would sit on a shelf.
Well, I was looking right there at the PS3 because I remember I forgot the PS3 was in there. I bought a PS3 for myself, but let me check one thing because that'll tell me something.
You didn't buy Pong for yourself?
Shut up. There was no. Shut up! I hate you.
I got a Nintendo 64, but it was only for Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. And
so
Pokemon Snap. Sorry.
I can tell you. Okay, so the PlayStation 3 dropped in 2006. I didn't get it till 2009 when Dragon Age Origins came out. And I got it when they did a Black Friday bundle where they had the God of War remasters 1 and 2 put on there. So I waited 3 years before I got the PlayStation 3.
That's the consistent mentality for people. Buy a console when it has games you want. That is what most people do, except for with this Switch 2. It has a game that people are like, yeah, it's okay.
Yep.
I can't fathom.
This is why I'm talking about this. This is why I bring it up. There is a weirdness surrounding the Switch 2. There was a lot of excitement leading up to it, but here we are, and it feels like even though the numbers are going to show that it is a successful launch, I feel like it's just been a giant wet fart now that it's here.
My Nintendo 64. As I said, I only got that to get Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 and Pokemon Snap. But the last few years, I've been trying to build up the library and getting secondhand Nintendo 64 games that I think look interesting. And since then, I've had Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart, Mario Kart 64, Mario 64, and trying to think of what else I have.
But yeah, we go back in time and we get the stuff that we miss, but you wait till it's worth getting. And yeah, I agree. The Switch 2 launch has been less than it should be. It's going to be a massive hit, but it could have been so much better if just people who cared about customer service, about giving their fans something of value. But I honestly don't blame Nintendo for this, because why wouldn't you be as lazy as possible if you have the ability to make godless amounts of money with the least amount of effort possible?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Can't fault them for that.
And I got the Star Wars Episode 1 pod racing game. I forgot about that.
Love that.
That's a fun one. Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
I mean, Dre, you've been oddly silent on this.
He's hiding his Switch 2 under his desk right now.
He didn't. We know he didn't get one. He wouldn't betray us like that. No, I'm kidding.
Under no circumstance did I do that. One of
You're
our
hiding
homies
Switch 2s in your floorboard, aren't you?
Yeah,
they
one
were
of my
in the
homies
car
actually
when it
got
got
one.
totaled. They were in the car.
Yeah, I'm writing them Jones off. Yeah, one of my friends actually got one, and I saw it. I was like, and I looked at it and I said, "Are you retarded?" That's the first thing I said out of his mouth, and I held it in my hand. I'm like, I got this at home. I have this at home. I hand it back to him. I'm like, your wife is going to kill you, bruh. I'm like, she's going to do unspeakable things to your hide when she finds out you dropped nearly 500 bones on this. So he went and bought the joint, bought no games with it. Games.
Wait. He didn't even buy the Mario Kart bundle. He just
Nope. Got it by itself. Bought no games. And then just proceeded to just put all the games he had on the Switch.
There it is.
That's what a lot of us did with PS2s back in the day. PS2.
We all did that.
PS1.
Yeah. My PS1 got retired immediately, but that was different though. The PS2 launch had games.
Yes.
There was a real library. It was just that was the beneficial, like, oh shit, it's backwards compatible. I can still keep playing all my PS1 games that are still functioning and still being released. Wow, this is fantastic. And I can play DVDs on this.
Yep.
This is great. I love this. This is brilliant.
I think all consoles should be backwards compatible, especially with the digital library, but even back in the day with the different cartridges. Just sell an adapter. If you need an adapter for a GameCube game or whatever to go on a Switch, that's fine. But I think everything should have the ability to be backwards compatible. It's not like it's more difficult to play old games. As we like to joke about a lot, there were more polygons in Lady V's ass in Resident Evil Village than there were in the entirety of Ocarina of Time. I think the new consoles can handle playing old games on it. It's not a hardware issue.
That was one of the worst decisions Sony did with the PlayStation 3 is the original ones had some backwards compatibility, but then when they released the point 2 versions, they took it away. I had the big boy I have, which still works. My 2009 big boy, not an original run. It's like the second round of it. It's not backwards compatible. Thing still works. Makes all kinds of god-awful loud noise when it runs. That thing's a vacuum cleaner when it runs. But it still works. but not backwards compatible, which was a mistake.
And
Yeah,
with
that
modern
was why.
games,
Oh,
go ahead, Drag Lady, go ahead. Go for
that
it.
was why my friend didn't get the PS3 because it wasn't backwards compatible, and that was why she got the PlayStation 4 instead.
Well, PlayStation 4 wasn't even really backwards compatible either.
Oh,
That was another drawback to it. The PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible with PlayStation 4, which makes it worth it for a lot of games, especially because when you get a new release like this for Lunar Remastered, it is a PS4 game, but I can play it on my PS5, and it looks good. I like it. It looks good.
And here's the problem with games of old and now. Games of old, we retired our systems. That's the way it worked. It was when the new generation came. At that point in the 90s and going into 2000s, some of us had cartridges going into discs, or some of us had discs that now don't run the same way because they were CDs, now they're DVDs. It was a new generation, was legitimately a new hardware generation. Now everything is freaking digital. All of it's digital. A Switch 2 and a Switch 1 are the same thing. There's no I felt this joint in my mutton chops. There's no
but it's
difference.
bigger,
It was a little thinner.
It's bigger. It's bigger.
Dumb. It's dumb because anybody like a good fine Christian is going to use a real controller with it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This at best should have been the OLED. This is a different version of the Switch. It is not a new console. It is a different version. What is it bringing? Slightly better hardware. Okay, you can play 60 frames per second. Honestly, I'm merely bringing that argument up because that's why a lot of people are playing Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, because it is 60
I've
frames
heard that
per
argument
second. That's why I keep addressing that. I personally think 60 frames per second is a scam. Our eyes can only see 24 to 30 frames per second. And so when I see 60 frames per second, Uncanny Valley gets immediately triggered. So I don't actually care about that. But in response to the argument, it's a relevant thing to bring up because that's why people are buying a lot of the Switch 1 games on the Switch 2. But it's just a slightly different Switch. It is just an OLED.
Literally.
That's all
it's even the
it
same
should
box. It even came in the same
it's
box.
It's nearly the same box. Yeah, we need... Consoles used to be extreme differences between the generations, like you're talking about. You retire the old one because the new one is so much substantially better and offers a lot more to it. The Switch versus the Wii U, that's a massive leap, and just the difference in hardware and technology justified transferring over to the Switch. Why aren't we? That's not what we're seeing here. The Switch 1 and Switch 2 is the same thing. The Wii, the N64 or the GameCube to the Wii, that's a massive hardware difference with the motion controls. Nintendo used to try to innovate, try to give you something distinct with each console release. This should not be a separate console. This should be Game Boy Color versus Game Boy. It's the same fucking thing, just
100%.
Slightly better.
Yeah,
100%. I agree wholeheartedly. This will be the Game Boy Color version of the game. Oh, good reference, Jet. This will be the Game Boy Color version of what the Switch was previously. Yeah. This is an absolute abomination. But this is the thing. You know what the best thing about the Game Boy Color was? It actually gave you something.
It gave you color.
It gave you color. This don't give you all. It's crazy.
And remember, we're trying to be objective here. It's going to do well. We all admit this. But this isn't.
It shouldn't, though.
It goes back to Jet's point. There's a lot of hypocrisy wrapped up in all of this. And Nintendo it does not get the same criticism overall. It's getting criticism. We're just right here. Our discussion is being lobbed in with a very small vocal crowd. But most of it is just, yay, look, we're getting this. Yay for one game. And pretending like it's a big deal. And I mean, literally, everybody lining up at night to go get this. I didn't get that. I personally don't believe in midnight launches. Only time I've done a midnight thing was on a Black Friday once to get my PS3 back in the day for that bundle. And that was 3 years later. I just wanted to get my hands on that bundle. But that's a Black Friday situation. That's not a launch situation. I have never in my life gone to a launch day for a console. I mean, I've lined up to pick up a game in the morning, at 9, 10 a.m., and it just so happened to coincide with other games launching on that day. I remember I went to pick up a WWE game, and it was also the launch day for another big game. So a lot of people were there at that morning because when I went to GameStop, now I just went there to get it early in the morning because I had to go to do something else that day, so I was already out. But I don't do lineup stuff unless it's Black Friday and I'm trying to get a deal.
I've actually never done a lineup for anything, video games or otherwise, and I don't care about anything enough to do that right now. Like if Witcher 4 was even being set up as the spiritual successor to Witcher 3, zero controversy, following the books perfectly lore-wise, it could be like the best instance of it possible. And the only way I could get it for the first 6 months of its release was to wait in line. I'd wait. There's not a thing on the plane, but that doesn't discount the fact that you have to be a very dedicated fan to do that. These Nintendo people, they are excited. I can't deny that. And we used to see that with a lot of other things. People used to wait in line like that to see movies on opening night with some of the big releases. I've never experienced that, and I don't think we're going to see that a lot again in the future for anything. So it is impressive that people care this much for the Switch 2 in this day and age, or anything enough
but I
in
don't
this day
understand
and age.
it.
I don't understand it either. I think other things deserve that treatment a lot more, but I still have to give them credit for caring in this day and age. I think it's a mistake to care to this degree, but I still have to give them props for being excited. Like, I'm happy people are excited. I hope the Switch 2 is everything they dreamed it would be.
I think it will be eventually.
Yeah.
But in this moment, like you said, I don't understand it. This isn't a revolutionary moment.
Not at all.
It's not.
And I don't think that's debatable. I don't think that on any level is a conversation to be had. Like, oh, this changes the gaming industry or changes Nintendo. This is a new coat of paint, and they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed. They're not gonna be, because as the point's already been made, the Nintendo shills, they're coming. They're on their knees. They're gargling that sack.
There are pictures. I've seen the ones. This is me 8 years ago holding my Switch 1, and I'm going to take the same exact picture now, me holding this one.
Yep. They're excited. And what Jed said, I hope they're excited. I hope they're having the time of their lives. But under no circumstance am I going to spend my hard-earned dollars on something I already got. And there is literally nothing you are giving me. They're giving me nothing. Nothing.
I'm with Jed on the statement of the hypocrisy thing is what in the end stands out the most to me. That this whole story of a very limp launch is not being equally compared to other so-called limp launches with the PS5 and the Series 1. Why are we not hearing this? Because it's the exact same story. Weak launch libraries, no exclusivity. Everybody else gets yelled up and Nintendo gets a pass?
Yes. Now that I agree as well. There is definitely hypocrisy at play. There's always going to be hypocrisy. Now, this is why I would say I'm going to try to be as objective as I possibly can. We need to wait a week. I think we need to wait a week until we can get some actual solid numbers in, like when the numbers are actually clearing. And if we can wait a week and then get actual numbers, worldwide numbers, instead of just speculative round numbers, then we can actually make a solid call on if this is a less than stellar launch than it could have been. Now, but once again, to be fair, even with the tentative numbers that's put in front of us, if this was the PlayStation, if this was the Xbox, everybody and their grandmama will be saying that this is garbage and it's a piece of trash and this is why Xbox is blah, blah, blah. Everybody will have something to say. So yes, so even with the tentative numbers in front of us, this isn't a tremendous launch by any stretch of the imagination. This ain't the PS2. For those of us that's old enough to remember the PS2 launch, that junk was spun off the shelves in EB Games, GameStop.
I got mine at Toys R Us. I got mine at Toys R Us.
Toys R Us is still there, and KB. So so like this is not a thing. This is not a thing. Like, oh, the Switch sold out 50 trillion. If the numbers hold, the tentative numbers hold about 3 to 4.5 million worldwide. This is a disaster. So I'm going to go on a limb and assume that the numbers aren't here yet because it's still too fresh. And like in a week's time, we can actually have some actual numbers, because if those numbers hold, then this is a disaster. This is Wii U disaster type stuff.
I want it to be Wii U, just because the next generation will be something impressive then. That's why I want the Switch 2 to fail, so that the next console will blow us away. If it's successful, we're going to get the Switch 3 with a new coat of paint in 8 years. That's what we're gonna get.
I
So
agree.
I actually want the Switch 2 to fail because of that. Not because I have anything against the Switch 2 necessarily, or the people who are enjoying it. I just want something great for the next time. And from what I heard, the servers aren't any better either. Nintendo servers are a laughable joke.
It's trash. People are saying the Wi-Fi is broken to all hell on the Switch 2.
And
That
does it have an
surprised me.
Ethernet port now? Because you had to have a docking station to use an Ethernet connection previously.
I've also heard the comment that the dock with Switch 2 is kind of weak.
Yeah, it's flimsy as shit, and the Switch 2 rattles in it. It's not
Really?
a tight fit like the
Oh.
Switch 1. So look, I want it to fail because the innovation is what we need back here. Imagine I could actually justify a Switch 2 launch and purchasing it myself if they brought some substantial innovation to it, like the handheld stuff for Switch 1. If they had decided, hey, we're going to define the VR industry finally, actually give a good VR console and have a handheld VR feature to it, and make it good, because right now most VR is not actually good. That would justify it. Yeah. That would absolutely justify. We are in a point where innovation is difficult technologically. I mean, like PS5 or PlayStation is talking about, we'll do smell-o-vision next is the next big innovation. So I think VR is the current technology that has the opportunity to explode, like the handheld stuff, because there was handheld stuff prior to the Switch, but the Switch perfected it.
Which Nintendo
that's where we're at with the VR. Even previously, yeah. So if that's the best example I can think of, technologically innovative. If the Switch 2 had come with a VR feature and you could play your old games for free in this VR setting, that would have justified it. I could actually see myself saying, hey, I'll get a Switch 2 to replay Zelda because I get to play it in VR. Or just anything like that. It needs to be innovative. It needs to offer something new, but it is just a coat of paint, like Dre said.
And VR, we're not there yet. What we have now is fake VR. It's fake VR. It's tricking your eyes into thinking it's something going on. You're not. That's all it is. But there needs to be another technological leap to get real VR, and that's going to be expensive as hell for everybody.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be very expensive for a while
because you're talking gear, rigs, shit like that.
Yeah,
or brain chips.
It's
either a full rig or a brain chip.
Yeah.
But I just mean in general, some big innovative technology had to be included in the Switch 2 to justify it having one exclusive. If it had that, I probably would have purchased it if it had some big technological thing.
There's nothing. And so, I mean, once again, if this conversation gets any sort of viewership, we will probably get attacked by Nintendo drones fanboys, because we're not hating. We're criticizing that Nintendo could do better. That's the bottom line of this. We are not hating on Nintendo. We're saying we know you're capable of more. We know you're capable of having the best exclusive titles out there. We know you're capable of making innovative leaps in hardware. And you just decided to go with the Nintendo Switch 2 because you know that the drones will line up and say, take my money. That's what we're saying here. That is the bottom line of this. And the other half of it is that there is a distinct hypocrisy out there when it comes to how Nintendo gets treated and the other major console companies get treated. It's that simple. It's that simple. All right, we went longer on this than I thought we would. So let's wrap it up. And we got one more quick story. This is for me and Jed, because this is our continuing victory lap of the failure of Shooty Who, current day Doctor Who. This dropped a couple days ago. Got an update yesterday. Just like old times, iconic Doctor Who pair set to sensationally reunite for a huge special after Shooty got off up. Jed, are we going to fire up the Who Cares TARDIS one more time?
Oh, yeah. If it comes out, we're going to have to do Doctor Who Cares reviews. But at this point, it is technically still a leak or a rumor. But to caveat that, all the leaks and rumors for season 2 and even season 1 were absolutely correct. They predicted Billie Piper. I laughed at that when I first heard that. It's like, there's no way that's true. There's no way that's true. It absolutely was. So I could believe it at this point. I think it's more likely the hiatus that people have been talking about, where we don't get anything for several years. So if that is the plan, is it starts with this crossover, this reunion special in 2 years, I could believe it a lot more likely. But yeah, I hope this isn't true. I could believe this was the plan. This was the hope, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen.
So specifically, insiders say Billy Piper's shock return to the end of latest series was understood to be teeing up a comeback with David Tennant 14. It would have to be 14, not 10.
14, unless it's post-retirement, he doesn't have enough time in his regeneration to do it. People are talking about it might be 10. I don't know how.
But there is
or Metacrisis.
But he's not a. But he's not that. But that Metacrisis already has his rose.
Well, I don't know if you ever heard this. Moffat said his canon says that Metacrisis doctor had a bad heart and died after 6 months.
I think he told me that once.
Yeah.
He told me that once. So if they're going to get this one-off special, if it happens, source said that BBC brought Doctor Who back in 2005, and there was a talk possibly one-off project to celebrate the 20th anniversary of New Who. David and Billy were a hugely popular partnership, and he brought in a golden age of Doctor Who, and they want to do this. If they do this, I would think it would possibly happen next Christmas. That's how soon I think it might happen. Because this would be a Christmas special event, is what it would be. That's the only legitimate
Christmas
way
2026, I think, would be the nearest thing.
This is beyond desperate. Yes, this is beyond desperate. Beyond desperate. We know for a fact that the Billy Piper reveal at the end of Shooty Who Season 2, Episode 8 was a last-minute reshoot leading up to this.
Yeah.
They had a whole... Jed and I talked about this with Dermy last week. They had a whole other thing planned in terms of a different ending, this and that, for Shooty Who Season 3. And when they knew this was done, they quickly reshot it and just stooped in Billy Piper at the last second, poorly CGI'd on top of Shooty's body.
Yep, when they found out Disney was not going to renew the season or wasn't planning on it, they hoped that shock value would be enough to incite people to watch season 2 and convince Disney. That's what I believe, is that this was a ploy to trick Disney into thinking that the show was actually successful.
Yeah, so this, honestly, I say do it. Do it, because right now, what this has done in the aftermath of last weekend with the conclusion of Shooty Who, it has kind of galvanized the actual real Whovian fan base to be pissed off all over again. I've seen more activity and anger at this than ever. There was apathy until last weekend when they stooped in Billy Piper and now are arguably attempting to ruin the legacy of Rose and honestly make a very dangerous change if you're saying that a doctor has a chance to regenerate into a companion. That's setting up so many bad possibilities. And what it's done is made real Who fans, Whovians, true blue real fans, pissed off. And drowning
It's making
out
the stands upset too. The stands hate this as well. It's been glorious to see stands turning against current Who.
Oh, well, they're pissy at it for different reasons, because they're butthurt that Shooty's gone and that Belligerent got that because she got a raw deal. And you want to see something funny? I found this shortly before stream. I think you'll find this movie. This is a pic of Millie Gibson, current, I believe, and it kind of says to me that as dumb as she's been in some of this, I think Millie Gibson kind of understands what she's there for when it comes to Doctor Who and stuff like that. I think she kind of gets it.
I see titties.
Yes, Dre comes back. Dre don't care until, hey, we got titties. Well, Millie Gibson is there for eye candy. That's what she was there for.
It's great when she shuts her fucking mouth and just does shit like this.
Yeah,
she can be popular.
Hey, and this is why Ruby was generally accepted. Not obnoxious, pretty girl, but don't try to actually do things and say, oh, we're here for the whammons. No. So Doctor Who is done, and if they do kind of stoop in Billy Piper as a fake doctor or some sort of weird thing, if they want to try and link it to Bad Wolf and all that kind of stuff, I mean, if they try to do that, we're here for it. It's going to burn it down faster and maybe get us closer to somebody getting enough balls to wrest it away from the BBC and retcon the Timeless Children because it will only be fixed when Timeless Children is retconned. Until then, it's just bad fan fiction that we will roast and make fun of. But in the end, Jed, do you think this has a real possibility of happening? This thing with them?
Like I said, I believe that this is the hope, but I don't think it's actually happening as of right now.
Okay.
So, I think we're gonna find out a lot after The Land Between the War and the Sea comes out because they don't want to release anything. Even Disney doesn't want to release anything about the future of the franchise until after that comes out, unless it were positive. So the fact that we're not hearing anything, I think after that show airs, after we get the miniseries out of the way, we're going to hear Disney's backed out of the deal. It's on hiatus, and that's the way it's going to be. So this, I think, is a continuation of the mindset of Billy Piper's Return in general, throwing shit at the wall, hoping to garner enough attention that they can trick Disney into renewing for another season. So this is the hope, but it's also a ploy. I think this is fraud, honestly.
You're absolutely right, because when you look at Shooty Who owns all the lowest ratings in Doctor Who ever. Owns them all. Top 10.
Wrestled them away from Jodie Whittaker, which people are still trying to redeem the Jodie Whittaker era, saying Chris Chibnall deserves an apology. Oh, Jodie Whittaker, the ratings were actually good during that time. We need to go back. It's like, no, they were still some of the worst in the franchise's history.
Yeah.
And now it's even worse.
Yeah. Shooty Who owns that off of Jodie. And when you have that, what company, what firm, what investor group in their right mind would give money to the BBC? When you can barely get 2 million people a week to watch your shit overnight.
And if the TV license there was ever canceled, it would absolutely disappear in an instant because they're basically taxpayer funded. Doctor Who's been taxpayer funded for a long time in the UK. If that went away, it can't justify its own existence.
Yeah.
And it essentially doesn't exist now. I mean, I've been, because of I got blocked by a couple more stands. It makes me happy. But because of that, I've been getting occasional clips on my feed of real Doctor Who speeches. They're so good. And somebody had the gall to say Scale Model of War was shit as a speech.
That, I think, is his best speech. Peter Capaldi's best speech. I love that speech.
It's so good.
That episode's okay.
The episode itself is kind of but that
speech makes it all worth it.
Is great. It's fantastic. And watching I watched a couple of Matt Smith speeches. Those were doctor moments. And we haven't had that in over a decade now. We haven't had that since the 50th.
The closest Jodie...
Almost a decade, sorry. Almost a decade.
The closest Jodie came was a speech about environmentalism in Orphan 52, which she's like, yeah, it's bad. Global warming, it's bad. Yeah, isn't it bad? That's the closest.
And that's agenda. Came. And that's agenda right there. Doctor Who is dead. R.I.P. Doctor Who. And one day, maybe, if somebody's brave enough, we can celebrate its return. But until then, we're going to make fun of it. And eventually, very soon, we'll give you guys a Doctor Who nerdgasm where we will put a panel together and enjoy some classic Who discussion, which will just be fun. All right, we're done. We're done. A little over time, but can't help it when we get passionate about our conversation. Let's go around the horn, say our goodbyes, and get on with our Sundays. Jed.
Well, you can all find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar, but I don't have anything worth promoting this week. So instead, I'm going to say subscribe to the Renaissance Nerd. We are so close to getting him to 4K. Have we gotten any closer?
No.
All right, people be slacking, man. People be slacking.
Only the faithful are already here today. They're already here.
I'm sure people have alts. All right, I subscribed on my alts.
You gotta be careful with that. Because they will strip them away if you do it.
You gotta go slowly.
Slowly.
Subscribe to the Renaissance Nerd because he has some exciting things coming in the future.
Yeah. Dragon Lady.
Oh, not much. Might be simming. I might not be simming. I think it just depends, really. But yeah, my actual private account is also subscribed to Adam's channel, but this one isn't, unfortunately. So none of me wants this one subscribed to it as well.
I'm okay with alts, but I want real accounts. People are going to show up and be here. And
my private one's the real account.
Okay, Dre.
Subscribe to the Renaissance Nerd.
Subscribe to Dre too.
But nothing planned this week due to medical issues. Wait, no, do I? No, wait, no, never mind. Follow me on Twitter, X @Attribution00, and hopefully when I'm healthy enough, I can start making content. So yeah, but this has been great. Everybody, like the video, subscribe, get Adam 4000.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everybody's support on all the streams and all everywhere I'm going right now. Everybody's really pushing to help me get there, and it'll be exciting when we do. And as Jet said, we got a lot of stuff planned for the channel, for the future, beyond the channel. A lot of stuff. The stronger the channel gets, the faster I can bring you guys more great content, new, fun, exciting things. And it's all because of you guys in the chat. You guys make it happen. I'm so happy when you guys come to here, when you watch me every week at 1 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday on the Daily Dive, the Double Ds, where you are in charge. It's a lot of fun in there. It's a new, unique kind of show we're trying to put out there to entertain you, where it's literally not the same thing every day. You never know what we're going to do. It's always different. Other than that, rest of the week, tonight, when we're done here later, I will be doing, as usual, Wormhole Watch with Brad, Fractured, and Hitman, where we're going to just enjoy. We're on season 2, episode 3 of Deep Space Nine. Check out those edited discussions on Brad's channel every Wednesday. And we're getting some guests coming on. I don't want to spoil it. It's for Brad to announce in proper time. We've got guests coming. It's going to be a lot of good fun. People getting into Star Trek, real Star Trek, is always a good thing. Always a good thing. Rest of the week, stay tuned, as I said, for the Daily Dive every day at 1 p.m. Eastern. Other streams are going to happen. We're coming to the end of Expedition 33, which Jed can now agree. Fabulous game. Outstanding.
Should be game of the year.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to endeavor to get some streams in on that this week. We are also, once we find a good spot for it, in the next week or so, we're going to get you guys a Nerdgasm episode for Doctor Who, our first one of probably many. But then after that, I'm going to put it in your hands, usually on Daily Dives. That's another reason to show up and be there. I'm going to put it in your hands to tell us what you want us to talk about on a Nerdgasm and stuff like that and other things like that. Rest of the week, I don't know who the guest is for Ballbusters. I don't know. Chatterday may be undergoing a few changes in the future in terms of how we're approaching it. But again, that's something I'm working out with a couple of the boys. But then Saturday Night Driving this week, I wanted to watch art. I wanted to watch something beautiful for this week. So this week, we will be discussing the classic Sound of Music, starring one Julie Andrews, who sets the bar. Julie sets the bar, and barely anybody can pass that bar. Very few in her era can pass that bar, and definitely not in current day. So we'll be watching Sound of Music for Sunday this week. And also here, because it's been made, you guys on either Tuesday and Wednesday on Daily Dive will get a live review of my thoughts on RRR. I've finally been made to watch it, thanks to Kratos.
And he's going to love every second of it, chat. So
it's a long movie, I'm told. I'm going to have to fit in time next couple days to get it watched. And that's why when you invest in getting a live reaction to an episode of television or movie, live review, you got to give me a couple days. So I will be live review of RRR, and I just don't think it's the kind of movie I like. I just don't. I have a bad feeling about this. But you'll get that. It's another show for the Daily Dive every day, 1 p.m. Eastern. Other than that, we'll be back here next week for another roundtable. The internet provided this week, where as we get closer to the triple threat match in July, I have a feeling the internet's going to be providing a lot in the next month or so. So thank you, everybody. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to everybody's channels. Links are in the description below, and we will catch you next time. Until then, good night and take it easy.